Hey everyone, Shawn here with Manly Made Minute. Welcome back to another episode of Okay, I'll try that. Except today, I've already tried this one, but I gotta retry it. Because I feel like I'm a little farther along in my watercoloring skills and my watercoloring techniques and my tools and products. So I'm going to go back to one of my very first videos. I put the link to it here in the description below to my first watercolor that I tried from Polly Hill on Instagram. Gotta find her, gotta follow her. She's amazing. Does similar techniques for everything, but I love it. And I got to retry this to see if I can get closer to what she does because I love them and I thought it would be cool to make little pieces of these as little gifts and things to slide into whatever. So I have to retry this. But before we go down to the camera, show you some of my new tools and things of how I'm going to approach this. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow along. Thumbs up and comments are always welcome as well. And you can find me at Manly Made Minute on Instagram, where I post card hops and other things that aren't on YouTube. So would love to have you there as well. Let's go down, take a look at some of my new stuff and where I'm headed with this. So I am using Canson XL watercolor paper. This is a scrap, little decent size, so I thought this would make just a great little painting size for now, so I didn't have to do anything too big. She does both, big and little and everything. So we'll just make a little portrait, okay? I'm going to use the rougher side of the texture because I think that'll look cool with this technique. I've invested in some more brushes since the beginning of time. And so these red ones here, I purchased as recommendation from Tim Holtz in one of his videos off of Amazon. These have come with some watercolor sets. These, along with the whole stack of them here on the side, are just cheapos. And then I bought these at a local craft store and spent a little extra money on these because I needed some more. I've already taken some of these out. Some more thinner ones for some of these techniques. So you can kind of see these are a little more fine point that we're going to use for today. And then these ones I had purchased in a pack. So investing in a little bit different brushes, spending a little extra money, but not a ton. My mailing watercolor set that I absolutely love. I also have an Alta New set now, but it's more like a ganache set, which is white based, and so that won't get me the intensity that I want for this technique. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tape this down because I'm going to have to dry this back a little bit, a couple times. And I do notice that she does tape hers down, so I'm assuming she's doing some dry back in between too. Just, you know, that's key with watercolor is the layering to get your colors to not wash together as much and get that intensity in your layers. So I'm just going to tack this down, because I'm going to do a little wash here on the first like she does. So now she usually takes different colors, but we're going to go, I've seen her do some greens and blues, and then the blues up on the top, and then smear those out and wash those out, dry it back. I might do another layer of that just to intensify it before I start doing stems and flowers, okay? And then she does a ton of splatter on hers, white, gold, black, you name it. So we're going to kind of copy that. So again, Polly Hill on Instagram. I'll put the link to her. Thank you, Polly. You've inspired me to keep on trying technique and kind of do some things like you're doing. So let's just start knocking some color out. So I'm going to use kind of a bigger, cheapo, moppy brush and get my colors wet here. So I'm going to do some greens and green blues with my blue washed up on top, okay? So let's just get some blues in there first, up on the top and down, carry that down into the bottom just a little bit. Now I've loaded this up pretty good, so I'm going to be careful with my tapping just to not get too blotchy. And if it gets blotchy, fine, whatever. I've learned with this, it is fixable to the point nobody will know anyway, right? So, all right, now I'm going to start with my greens. I'm doing a medium green and just bring that up just a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of a bluish green in there to bring out some color, like so. And then just wash this up, okay? Now I'm going to take a flat, cheapo brush, get this pretty good and wet, and then I'm just going to brush this out upwards and long strokes and random strokes just to get a nice wash off of this. And keep that as intense as you feel. going to wash those dots down just a little bit because I'm going to get some more dots in there. And I actually am digging this a lot. Before I dry this back, I'm going to throw just a little bit of darkness around that edge. So I'm going to take a little bit of a darker bluish purple and dab some right here at the bottom. I'm going to throw just a little purple into that. Get this wet. And just dab a little bit of purple. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to wash that down just a little bit around the edges. Just to have fun. Just because, and I wanted to frame this out just a little bit. And I'm actually pretty happy with that right where it's at. I'm going to dry this back and I'll cut right back. Okay, I've got this dried back. I'm going to add just a little bit of extra green here down towards the bottom and give it one more quick wash just to soften and bring some of that green back down. And then just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of blue right up through here and wash this down, okay? There we go. Just wanted a little bit more in that. Yeah, good. I'm happy with that. Dry this back, and we'll start on our stems. Okay, I did add a little bit more green and a little bit more blue. Blue I washed out this way a little bit. Took the green and went a little bit more this way, just to get a little extra. It was kind of washing out on me, and I intensified it. So same technique, I washed up, and then I just took the blue and went across with a big splash of blue, and then spread that out. Now, I have some green and some brown down here left over from another little project. I'm going to use that, actually. So I'm just going to take some of my little bit more green, mix in down here, and then I'm going to take a little bit of brown, and add a little bit of brown to that. Let me grab a different brush. And brown this up just a little bit. There we go. Just it's about where I want it or like it. Okay. Now I'm using one of my longer, newer, finer brushes, so I can just do these nice long strokes. And I'm going to add just a whole bunch of stems in here, and it's just all kind of random. And I'm just getting a motion going, so I keep it nice and soft. And I'm probably going to layer a couple different colors of this. But you're just getting this nice and little thick stems down in through the bottom here before we get our flowers going. And get some varying sizes going here, right? So carry it up. Really liking that. Now I'm going to take just probably a little bit of just a nice deep dark brown and throw a couple in there for some intensity on that. Right down here. Okay, and now I'm just going to do the same thing and just throw some in there for depth. And that's it. Get some stuff kind of going sideways here too, right? All right. Looking at the up camera, I really like that. I'm going to set this back just a tiny bit. Then we do some splatter again for the flowers. And we're going to go I think we're just going to go some blues and maybe a little bit of purpley reds in there. Okay. Now I'm going to use this kind of medium to small moppy brush style to splatter these. And so I'm going to pick up my blue, and this is more of a deeper blue. Okay, and then I'm going to splatter this up through the top, and I want pretty decent splatters because I'm going to have to use some to spread out. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this purpley red and do a little bit mixed in there with it. Okay, now I'm going to take and rinse this brush off, and I'm going to use the same brush. Don't get it too wet because you don't want this to wash too much on you. And now we're just going to use these to make our little petals. And I've watched this 100 times on what she's doing, and I'm just trying, to be honest. I know she does randomy kind of petals and things, so that's what I'm trying, is some randomy washy kind of stuff here. I'm going to make this kind of a full one, I think. And some of them are just kind of random shapes, even like little spikies off of them and stuff. I feel like this is the practice part, that I may need to do more of these just to get the practice of it in. And then you just go through and you add your little middles to them. Because we've got so many stems in here now, I'm not worried about lining this up with a stem. I'm actually feeling way more comfortable doing it this time than I did that first time, I'm going to be honest. And it's more about, I think, just trying and not worrying about the perfection. I'm just trying to get random shapes and getting it some kind of looking down, and like this one, some up, some full ones in there. And I know she splatters a lot over the top of this, which will help just cover anything else that you feel is a quote-unquote little mistake. We'll throw some little ones here in the back, just in that distance. Like so. I'm going to add a couple more, I think, in there. Get some more splatter that's wet, because it's starting to dry a little bit. Okay, just take and spread those out. I think this is more about not being afraid of the shape. They're wildflowers anyway, right? This one I got a little blotch on, so we're going to pull some of that one up. I'm going to throw one more red one right in the middle here. Okay, now I'm just going to take, for the centers, and just throw a little darker color in those centers. Let's just go, I think we're going to have to dry those a little bit. Let me dry this just a little bit and cut back. Three, two, one. Okay, I did dry that back a little bit. I'm going to just take this kind of this darker green here, and we're just going to give these some little centers. Like so. On all of these. So there's just that little piece in the center that it's got the seeds on them, or whatever you call it, right? Like so. That's it. And we're going to dry this back before I do all my splatter on this. Alright? Okay, we're going to give this some gold and white splatter. She does a lot of golds, whites, blacks kind of splatter. So I'm going to get my gold here first, and then we'll dry that, just set that just a little bit, then do my white. And she goes pretty heavy usually with her splatter. So I think that's what, for me, honestly, it's like that's going to help just blend out anything that I may feel I am not happy with. So we're going to leave that there. Dry this back just a tiny bit. Then for my white, I have the Amsterdam acrylic ink. It's titanium white. If you don't use it for a while, you just want to give it a good shake because it does settle. This gold dries pretty quick on the shimmer colors. And then I just will take, usually, it's in a little dropper bottle, and I'll just usually drop it right on my glass mat. This does dry, and it can get hard to get off, so as soon as you're done, you want to make sure you wipe this up, because it'll dry, you got to scrub it off. Just give that a little bit of extra liquid, and then pretty heavy on the white. And I went sideways because I wanted to splatter. And I might actually just right about... So, I'm going to leave it there. Let me dry this a little bit, and we'll take a final look. Alright, I have mounted my cute little Picasso here on some cardstock. I used some scrap purple. I did ink blend the purple just to deepen it a little bit. I roughed the edges of my paper, and I didn't glue it down all the way around the edges, so it just has that like old canvas painting kind of feel without a frame. Is kind of what I went with, and then just a little black background going straight up and down. So I am extremely happy with this. I think the difference between this one and my first one, go check that video out. I'll put the link here on screen for you, is much better. Just hands down, I think I've got the technique is there. Now it's just to kind of work on the petals. And I know she's done some where she's got more rounded petals and things, and I'll try that as well. So very happy with this and how this one turned out. So give it a try. Get out some watercolors, do some wash on the background, and pick some colors to wash out, and add yourself some flowers. Crazy easy. Check out Polly Hill on Instagram. I'll link that as well for you. So thank you for hanging with me, and until next time, I'll see you then.